everybody. Welcome back to episode 66 of Painting Up the Monster Manual. I'm Ian.
And I'm Jack.
And this is Richard. From Warrior Prince 3D.
This is Richard from Warrior Prince 3D.
There you go. There's three of us today because my buddy Jack, who some of you may know from our streams, is...
I'm joining in.
Bored.
Yeah, he's got nothing better to do with his time, and you know, as parole officer said, we can have him here.
Yeah.
You know, fresh from court in his shirt.
They let me out for the day, so...
Do you want to come this way a bit?
I'll come there we go.
But we're here for episode 66, the Assassin in Painting Up the Monster Manual, and this is obviously a 32 scale miniature, isn't it, Richard?
Yes.
So,
I want to say yes, but the problem is I think the scaling went a bit funny with this one because it's a little bit tall.
Either way, I'm not going to complain when we've only got an hour to paint such a detailed mini up, because this is going to be a hard one to go with. Before we jump into anything, Richard, who and what is Warrior Prince 3D?
Who and what is Warrior Prince 3D? Warrior Prince 3D is your one-stop shop for all your 3D printing needs, from tabletop collectibles to terrain to cosplay pieces to pretty much anything I can stick on the printers, of which I've now got a new fancy one, which people with high detail stuff should give me a shout, because that shit is fucking awesome at 16k. I am on Instagram over here with DRAGONBORN Industries. I am on Facebook, generally on the street shouting about prints. I'm in 3 shops now, 4 shops, if you can be found up and down the country. Yeah, message me if you want anything.
That's exactly it. We also have an exclusive code with Richard if you were on Etsy, which is To The Stars, which is currently a 10% off code. But that could be changing soon. Currently, 10% off. But, hey chat, how's everybody doing today? I see you all there. Hey Craig, hey Dibs, hey Chris. I hope you are all doing really well. Now, I'm not going to talk that much about the creature today. We might talk about how to implement it and stuff. But I've got a handy assistant here who's not going to be painting, who can talk about the stat block of the Assassin. And obviously, Jack, for the format of the show, if you haven't seen it, we're going to talk about like the little blurb that it gives you about the kind of like lore of the creature. Then we're going to talk about things like the stat block and about what I call the big 3. Now, the big 3, for anybody who might have not seen before or might be new, are obviously armor class, its hit points, and its damage dealing potential. These are what I believe to be the 3 things that make a creature balanced. And obviously, as we've been through this show 66 times now, hopefully that will sort of make sense where like one of those is probably going to be very big, or 2 of them quite big, and then one of them is probably going to be lower than the other ones. And this is to simulate either its tankiness, or its ability to take damage, or its ability to deal damage, or its your ability to hit the creature. Today's creature is a CR 8, so it's a challenge rating of 8. So for a party of 4 with an average of level 8, that would be what we would call a hard challenge, but something they should be able to beat. I think what Richard and I find is that challenge ratings sometimes should probably be a little bit... exactly that, because I know that when I've GM'd, when you've GM'd, but also probably you, Jack, as well, is that you could probably throw a CR8 at a party of 4, and they're going to demolish it.
Oh, 100%, yeah. If things go their way and they choose the right abilities and stuff...
Exactly
that. It's gone, mate.
Not so much even that sometimes. It's a case of also if you know the mechanics.
And that's the other thing, is action economy, and Richard is exactly right there, because action economy, if you've only got one creature, is either the death or the killing of either the creature or the players. So this is why, like, bigger creatures, when we look at things like the Arch Hag that we had last week, they have lair actions, they have legendary actions, so that it's not just a party of 4 or 5 players just wailing on one creature. You know, we're talking about like having like these extra things. But what we're starting to see now more with D&D 2024 is this coming more into effect with lower creatures. And I think actually I'm going to get Jack to look through the stat block and talk about that, because Richard and I do only have an hour to paint up this creature, and it is quite highly detailed. I am going to be using an airbrush today for some of it. Richard, do you know how you're going to be painting this up today?
I have no fucking clue, Ian. I primed it 5 minutes ago.
That's the painting of the Monster Manual that we know and love, is rushed into it. I've been prepped for this one for nearly a week.
Do you know what? I literally, when you posted it, I'm like, fuck, I've got to get it sorted. And I think I printed it. Well, I've not been allowed my power cords back to my printers until the start of this week. So
you've been on a rest week.
Start this week.
Yeah. So I'm going to steal a technique I saw from Richard, which is to use a sepia ink through an airbrush over a high zenith primer to try and achieve this like leathery look that he had with the Ghoul, which is something that you printed recently that was fucking incredible.
Hopefully the post will be going up today if I can get some time to admin.
Oh, amazing. Otherwise, we've got 1 hour, Richard, and Jack is going to start with the blurb of the book.
Yep. 3,
3, 2, 1, paint!
Go! Check out the face, by the way, Ian, see if you can get the scars in.
Fuck off.
So, obviously, today we're painting up the Assasin, which, as we already know, is CR8. So a fairly hard monster, but as anyone who's DM'd or GM'd before, it doesn't really matter, because if your characters know what they're doing, they can probably kill it pretty easy. So, I'll go through the little blurb here that we've got. Assassins are professional killers skilled at stealthily approaching their victims and striking unseen. Most assassins kill for a reason, perhaps hiring themselves out to wealthy patrons or slaying for an unscrupulous cause. They use poisons and other deadly tools, and they might carry equipment to help them break into secure areas or avoid capture. Many assassins adhere to a professional code or exhibit some signature quirk. And just below this blurb, we've got a little bit of a table, which is named the Assassin Modus Operandi, which sounds very Latin.
I would have spent 5 minutes trying to read that if you weren't here. I'd have been like, the Assassin Modus Operandi. I'd have been all over that.
And this is a D6 table. Obviously, you can sort of make up whatever you want if you're creating this assassin, but this is kind of like the way that they do things. So, for instance, if you rolled a 1 on this table, they like arranging their victims in artful tableau. So it's very, I think maybe like Game of Thrones episode 1.
Oh,
you know,
what an
when they do
opener.
it in that sort of weird.
What a most pointless opener that was.
It's very true. It meant nothing.
It literally did. Like, so what I really loved is like they were meant to be the big bad of the entire thing. Like, oh my god, the White Walkers are coming in. Everyone's squabbling between themselves. And that first opening thing, that first Chekhov's gun of, if you show the gun, you have to fire the gun. And they just went, nah, fuck it.
Yeah, that was really pointless. I can't believe how pointless that was. And another one on this table, as another example, is if you roll a 3 on the table, they like to leave behind a signature item, such as a calling card, flower, seashell, or a tooth, which is very much like, is it Jack the Ripper kind of style?
Yeah, I guess his calling card was leaving the intestines over the shoulder.
Yeah. That kind of thing.
I always think of when it's like a calling card, there's a scene in the IT Crowd when Moss asks Roy, he's like, what would your calling card be if you were a killer? Mine would be a rose and I'd be called the gardener. What do you want me? Clawhammer.
Oh, I love it. So, that's all the kind of blurb we get on the Assassin, which is vague, but it allows you to kind of specify a little bit more and create a bit more behind it if you wanted to, which I think is quite apt for an assassin, because you know they're meant to be sneaky and they're meant to be not known for any particular contracts and stuff. So, as I said before, CR of 8. AC on this assassin, the armor class, is 16, which is not too bad.
I think that's quite low.
That's quite low. I mean, they're only known for what they're wearing, studded leather armor. So
it's quiet and it's movable. They're not going to be in plate. They're not going to be in anything more than that, because you imagine a paladin walking in like, yeah, I'm the assassin. Crunk, 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 crunk.
Well, it'd be a good disguise, wouldn't it? A good front. You know.
Yeah, maybe.
Who's going to expect an assassin in full plate armor?
Everybody, when they hear him coming, like, oh!
Walking in plain sight.
We've all played Skyrim. We've all done it. We've all been
True, yeah.
Sneak.
So, for any party of, you said like 4 characters of level 8 is what the...
Usually, yeah, it's based around 4
I mean,
characters.
at level 8, you're going to be beating 16 AC pretty easy as most classes.
I mean, by then you should at least have a +4, potentially a +5 in your key ability score modifier.
Yeah,
which
and then with the proficiency bonus on top.
Which I think at level 8 is at least +3 or +4.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're talking already,
Yeah.
you know, 4, let's say 4 and 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I mean, you only need to roll an 8 upwards to hit that.
Yep.
With pretty much any of your spells or your attacks to really, start putting down the
Yeah,
damage.
we're talking that sort of average. You've got about 60% chance of actually hitting them,
Yeah.
which is not too bad.
And see, this is why I like Maths Boy over here, who like, he literally is like, that's about a 60% chance.
And you might know that it's because every 1 on the dice is 5%.
Somebody might have learned something from that.
So the chance of rolling a nat 20 is at 5%.
Geeky Phoenix says hiding in plain sight.
If we're using the actual, maths, obviously when you're rolling a dice, it goes in different directions, and some people would like to just drop their dice on their tray. I hate that.
Shouldn't be fucking allowed to do that.
So
I hate it so much.
I fucking hate it.
I don't mind it, but I will show you something that I do. I'll do it later. Grab that dice tray.
Rookies are a biscuit, so we can't really excuse you.
So like, when like if I've got this dice tray right, which
Yeah.
has got these like angled walls on, I will drop it down the side of the wall, not there, but like there, so it like rolls around the tray and stuff.
Just, yeah.
But like people who go like that, just into the centre.
I hate it.
It's like people who do. If you do it from really low down, I mean, in all fairness, mine's rolling. Which
But it
is,
doesn't roll much. It's
No.
very unsatisfying.
I like it to hit the opposite
I
wall.
wanted to go on some sort of journey and decide my fate.
I wanted to go on a journey.
So, you know.
So that's the just the sepia airbrushed over.
It's already looking good.
Yeah,
I think it's really good for the armour.
it really doesn't need to be more than that.
No.
I was a bit speckled. I went a bit too high on my pressure to begin with, but I don't want to go too far because I don't want to basically blacken this thing out.
Yeah.
But I will go over that cape again
Yeah.
because I'm just going to finger rub.
Myself.
Heard that.
I'm taking the highlights of the cloak, and I'm actually finger rubbing them away before it's fully dry, and I'm going to go again, just to add a little.
Very good.
I say without finger rubbing, that's what I did with Gaul, because I went over on the highlights and redid them in white ink.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Hello, Absalom. Welcome.
Hey Dak, how are you all doing out there today? What's everybody up to? So,
I'll wait to see what people say before I continue. Work. Oh, God.
is that Phoenix?
Nope. Dragon Skull
Right.
Studio.
Oh, that's Craig. Yeah,
Yeah, I feel that, buddy.
Craig. What you've only just got there, right? It's got to be what 7, 8 in the morning.
Last rush before the long weekend, and then some 3D printing.
Whoop, whoop.
Very nice.
You never guess what I'm up to. Dibs, I'm going to take a crack and guess your painting. Okay, so I need to hit that base up with something different now, but I want to leave that wood alone.
Yeah.
Just going to dry that off a bit. So,
Yeah, let's continue.
armor class of 16.
Armor class 16, which
It's quite low.
quite low. For CR8, quite low, which means something else is going to be probably pretty high.
Yeah.
Which, as an assassin, you could probably guess where. But we'll go for HP next. You got a flat amount of 97.
This is the average amount, rules as written, if you were to just plop this on the table.
Yeah, just 97.
Or you could roll it, which is what?
15 D8 plus 30.
Which is pretty high.
Which you could probably quite easily get above 97 if you rolled.
So if you max
Yeah.
that out, what's the max hit
Oh,
points?
now you're asking me to do things. So that is 150 hit points max.
Which for an assassin,
Yeah.
I think that's still not that bad. I think
Especially
CR8,
for 4 characters at level 8.
and what do we usually see in a party? We see a barbarian, for sure.
Yeah,
Who's going to be
probably using a great axe, which is like a D12.
one crit,
Yeah.
and that's a huge thing. And we've seen it on the show before with Richard, when he's got a paladin that hits, and then pumps a smite into it, and it's just like, fuck me, there's like 100 damage nearly. If you were
Yeah.
level 8, that's high level magic.
But the assassin might have other things that might help bring things down a little bit.
And I absolutely think it does.
So 97, not too bad as an average, and a max of 150 there. We'll go through some other things first. So we've got an initiative of +10. And
Speedy boy.
being very naturally dexterous people, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
So they're going to be going pretty high in the initiative order.
This is something that you want to go first as a GM. You were like, right, these are assassins.
You want to get that shot off first.
Yeah, to be like, this is the danger. The speed, and potentially, I think...
I make them go last.
Yeah, if you make them hide... Get that sneak attack. But then, when we look at D&D 2024, obviously that surprise round is no longer a full round of actions. It's just you get to roll twice an initiative if you're surprised and take the lower, and if you're not, I think you get to take the higher. So it's a different way of doing it this way.
I haven't actually read that up yet.
I learned that last time during Lightwell.
So kind of defeats the objects of surprise rounds, really, doesn't it?
No, it's basically, it's kind of...
I've never enjoyed the ruling around assassins and insta-kills.
Yeah.
Because obviously, assassin is someone who is basically there to kill someone.
Yeah.
And obviously the rules, fairly so, because obviously you'll get a lot of pissed off players.
Yeah.
But an assassin couldn't slit your throat in your sleep. Even if they've got a nat 20 on its stealth.
So, and this is something that I quite like with Paizo, is the coup de grace. Because if somebody is asleep, they are technically incapacitated. Therefore, you can attempt a coup de grace, which is essentially you make the attack roll, you hit. Usually, when they're asleep, you pretty much get massive boon stats, so you can't miss. Then they have to make a fortitude save, and if they fail that against the person's class DC, I think it is, dead, insta kill. So there are ways to save from it, but
Is that where players though as well?
yeah. Players and monsters can do coup de grace. It's a full action in Paizo publications for 1E.
It's a dangerous one.
It's fucking great, but it's hard to pull off.
Yeah.
So I do quite like the Assassinate, and I think that when you, it kind of fits with the name Assassin. For me personally, I would want that. I would be like, right, you know, this is their fucking job. It's like having the Vorpal sword. Cool, it crits. Now you have to make the save to see if it chops your head off. So it's down to the dice rolls, and I'm all fucking about that.
Yeah.
I am all about that.
Well, that's it. I love the concept of an assassin because the fact is last in that game as well, especially in a D&D setting. You've got to be pretty fucking tough.
Yeah.
Or smart enough to fucking get away with it.
Yeah.
Dibs says someone should make a game centered on a group of assassins that travel the world, assassinating people that are trying to turn the world for their own profit. Maybe even a creed of assassins. That sounds very familiar. I wonder what that's from.
Age of Empires, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's one. Right on the head.
Oh, it's funny because I know you played like all of those games.
Well, not all of them, most of them. But they've gone.
I've not played all of them.
They've gone down the shitter recently, to be fair.
I stopped after they fucking... I think it was like the third one, and I was like, oh, stop leaving me on a cliffhanger. It's been 3 fucking games now.
My favourite one is Odyssey. The Greek one.
The Greek one. Oh, yeah, because
That's really good.
I wanted to do the Egyptian one, but then I just didn't have time to. Because I think we were working together at the time when that came out, and we were like, oh, fuck. And I just never got a chance to play it.
I think the Origins, I think it was.
That was it.
Yeah, but I think that's when they changed over their game system. Because it used to be like the old Assassin's Creed, you didn't really have like, it wasn't like an RPG as such. It was just, you know. But Origins is the first time where they changed it about you'd actually like level up and choose abilities and all that sort of thing. So I think that one kind of was a bit like a testing ground. And then Odyssey came out, and I think they kind of perfected it there. And then since then they've just kind of been a bit shit. Just a bit shit.
I haven't played them for a long time.
I was really hoping the Valhalla one would be better, but it's
just... I only played Valhalla.
Did you like it?
I enjoyed it, but I never completed it.
Yeah, it's an alright game. It's alright, but I'm not getting that Assassin's Creed feeling out of it.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Craig, by the way, who has been here since 6. He's been at his job since 6. It's like 7, 8 o'clock there.
Yeah.
He's already worked for the company for like 25 years and is still going in at that time. That's dedication.
That is dedication.
That's fucking
fair
fuck
play,
that.
mate.
I work here and I don't get out of bed till fuck knows when. I mean, what?
Yeah, you say what? So let's carry on.
Yeah.
So, we've got a standard speed of 30 foot, which is very standard for pretty much almost anything, which is fine.
Not as high as I thought it would be for what is essentially a rogue, because
Yeah.
I think you get, what is it, 40 feet for monks and rogues by this level?
I think they're still sort of trying to treat it, they are still, you know, a humanoid. There's nothing particularly.
Yeah, and also actually the fact that then cunning actions, which I know is going to come up in a bit,
Yes.
and then so you could actually take the cunning action and the regular action to dash.
They have the ability.
They still have the speed.
Yeah. So this I've got the skills, so stealth plus 10, of course. That's going to be high anyway. Perception plus 6, acrobatics plus 7. So everything you would expect an assassin to have, they are good at.
It's very much the rogue stat block, isn't it?
But they are resistant to poison,
Okay.
which
Again, you'd
quite
expect.
interesting. Yeah, I would imagine if you think about maybe lore-wise, maybe they've over time given themselves small injections of poison to try and build up a resistance over time. I think that's the way I'd kind of look at it.
I see it the other way where. Go on, Richard, after you.
They tip an arrow in poison and put it in their mouth to hold for the next.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's exactly where I was going to go. It's just like they're like doing exactly the paintbrushing. They're like, yeah. Oh, we've done this show too much together. Like, oh fuck.
Dude says Valhalla is awesome if you play it as a Viking game and not Assassin's Creed. I've started Mirage, but I haven't done much. It is so far more like the original AC games. I haven't played Shadows though. Yeah, that's fair play. I think next time maybe if I pick up Valhalla again, I'll just have to kind of look at it from not being an Assassin's Creed game.
I think you got to treat it like God of War.
I fucking love God of War. Oh, 100% in Ragnarok.
I've never played a God of War game.
Have you not?
The only time I played it is when my friend, one of my best friends, Naz, when we were, I think it was like God of War 2, maybe on the PS2,
Yeah.
and you could press like the analog sticks in to like blow the guy's eyes out, and I was like, "Can I try that, please?" That's the only thing I've ever done. It was.
The new God of War games are great. They're really, really good.
Isn't this whole thing just going, boy?
There is a lot of that, yeah. Although Atreus does piss me off a lot.
Is that his kid?
Yeah. It's just very stereotypical, like.
Step kid.
Well.
Jack, man, you gotta get to grips with that.
They just like they don't fucking listen, you know. They just go off. They always fuck things up, and then you always have to go, you know, help them and rescue them and fix them, and it's just shit. Other than that, everything's great.
They just get in the way.
Yeah. So assassins, the gear they've got.
I fucking love hanging out with you. I really do.
They got a light crossbow, a short sword, and some studded leather armor. So they're packing light, but getting the job done from a range and in close combat.
So they have got range then.
They got a light crossbow.
That's pretty good.
So,
Okay, we're going to cover that in a second anyway.
Obviously, in the languages, common thieves can't, of course. Being an assassin, you can't not have that. So we'll go on to the first trait, which is pulled from the rogue class itself, if you're playing as a character, which is evasion. So if the assassin is subjected to an effect that allows it to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, the assassin instead takes no damage if it succeeds on the save, and only half damage if it fails. It can't use this trait if it has the incapacitated condition. So things like a lot of spells, probably like Fireball.
Yeah.
It's a dexterity saving throw. The classic wizard trope, that one. But if they succeed the save, they take no damage instead of half.
That's pretty good. I think that's one of the accoutrements of the rogue as it is, because obviously the rogue, when we were a player, I don't know if Richard's found this, is a bit of a glass cannon. Obviously, like, you can hit hard, and when you hit, you fucking go off one with, like, the sneak attack and stuff. Especially at level 8, you're talking, what is it, 5d6 at level 8? On top of your regular attack, which if you've got, by that point, like a +3 rapier, and you're dealing, you know, a d8 plus your proficiency bonus, plus your dexterity modifier, you're already in the 20s for your regular hit, let alone being on top of, like, it's fucking wild. And then if you crit, it's you know, it's one hit over kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
The way we do crits now.
Yes, because I indoctrinated Richard into our crits, which is the max everything.
It feels so much better.
It does.
Yes,
when
it feels
hits,
bad when you get hit by a crit, but I don't know. It makes it a bit more exciting.
It makes it better than, I rolled a 1 for 2 damage on a crit. It's fucking, I hate that
Well,
shit.
yeah, that's it. It's better than the rolling 2 ones and thinking, I'm going to fucking just die.
Exactly.
What a waste of a nat 20.
Absolutely. I think it just makes it more impactful for sure.
I loved it in God of War when he says, indeed. I can't have Christopher Judge and not have him say that. Is that who did the voice, is it?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Tilk.
Is it? Holy shit. I didn't even put that, like, 2 and 2 together there. Fuck. That's very cool.
That's the indeed, you know. Indeed.
Indeed.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Man's got the lowest voice known to man. We move on to actions now for the assassin. This, I think, is absolutely where the triangle, the balanced triangle, as it were.
3, yeah.
So a bit low on the AC, but I think really coming through for damage here. So they have multi-attack. The assassin makes 3 attacks using short sword or light crossbow in any combination whatsoever.
So that's fucking horrible, because that's like basically, if the melee classes have got up close, you're like fucking fuck off.
Yeah.
You then thunk, and then shoot.
Yeah, with the addition of the bonus action, the cunning action, the assassin gets to take the dash, disengage, or hide action as a bonus action, which most rogues do when you're playing as a character. But this allows them to, if they're up close with a melee, like the barbarian, let's say, that's got close, they can make the short sword attack maybe twice.
Yeah.
Bonus action to disengage, get out of there, and get a bolt off still.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really versatile. Honestly, it allows them to sort of adapt to any sort of situation that goes on.
Yeah, that multi-attack's horrible.
Having the ability to disengage during their sort of onslaught is really good.
Yeah.
So with their short sword, they have a +7 to their melee attack roll, which it's all right. It's not too bad. It's not horrible, but
what's the percentage on that?
Well, it depends on the AC of the person they're hitting, doesn't it?
Yeah, fair enough.
If you're looking maybe like a fighter or a paladin that's wearing full plate, they're going to have 18 AC. I think is what the full plate will give them. So that's about a 45% chance.
It's not bad. I just noticed as well, Richard, on the left arm, the dagger arm of this particular mini, I thought there was still a little support on there, and I was going to mock you. There are 2 tiny needle daggers on the side of the arm. That's fucking insane.
Printed perfectly, you motherfucker.
They have. Well, that's the point. Is I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking dope. And there's one in the boot. You right there?
Yeah.
I hope the mics picked that up.
Just had to be in the quiet moment, didn't it? That's my breakfast. Sorry about that.
Oh, what do you have?
I have the sandwich, didn't I?
Yeah. Richard, what do you think of chicken stuffing and mayo sandwiches?
Say again?
Chicken, stuffing, and mayo sandwiches from a meal deal. Thoughts?
Fuck, godsend.
Really?
Thank
I
you.
fucking love them.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
They're one of my 3 go-to sandwiches.
Do you not find them dry as fuck no matter what?
No, because I usually buy a Monster with them.
Good.
Wash them down with the healthy stuff. Kiki says delicious. Thank you.
Yeah, I will lose. I will lose this one. I know
Good.
that.
Stand out.
I just think you're all monsters for eating animals.
I've resorted to that now.
It's the only thing I've got.
Oh my god. So, short sword, +7 to hit. So, around about 45% chance to hit on someone who's wearing full plate. But if they're going against, say, the wizard, he's probably only going to have maybe 12 without mage armour. So that's going to be quite a big chance to hit there. But on hit with the short sword, they do a d6 +4, which is standard for a short sword, but deals 5d6 poison damage on a hit with one hit on a short sword.
That's not even as a sneak attack.
That's not sneak attack, no. That's poison damage.
That's just on top of it.
I don't think they get sneak attack for this assassin.
Not if they're getting 5d6 on top of every attack.
No, but
Fuck.
That's on every single hit with a short sword. And an average of 5d6 would be 17. So, I mean, on average, you're looking at about 24 damage per hit with a short sword, which is
Disgusting.
Nutty.
Nutty.
I would be using top end poison with that as well.
Yeah.
That's horrid.
And the target has the poisoned condition until the start of the assassin's next turn, if hit with the short sword.
Is poison in D&D
Yep.
the same as D&D in 5e, the same as 2024, where it's disadvantage on everything? Or have they changed it?
I can't remember. Have we got the other book somewhere?
I do. I've just reorganised in here. Oh, do you,
Where is it?
If you go under the GM spot, on the right-hand side is all the D&D books.
Oh, right.
Because I had to protect them from where I fucked my other book the other day. So, little tip for everyone out there, if you have physical copies of the books, don't leave them under a drip in the roof.
Yeah.
So, not only that, it was painting up the monster manual. I took it off the table, I put it over there, where I know there's a drip. Thought, I'll move that in a minute, because it's not raining. Left it all week, and obviously the book is about 1.5 inches thick, and it dripped perfectly onto the pages.
Awful, isn't it?
Yeah,
Absolutely
so conditions, which
29.
there you go. So Jack's gonna go, look at this, my rules lawyer doing his thing. I fucking love it.
I'm doing my thing, man.
Right, I need to grab a very small dry brush because I'm gonna just go over where I've used brown and black inks as the airbrush for the base. I'm just gonna dry brush with a Praxetti white, and that's it. How are you getting on, Richard?
Getting there.
How did you?
I started out with an airbrush of Black Legion contrast.
Oh yeah.
So this is mainly just to base the armour and to do the cloak. And I then went over the cloak as I hit my head on the microphone in a dark blue contrast, just to give the cloak like that edge of blue.
That's cool.
Now I'm going in dry brushing and doing other shit to try and make it look like some sort of shit that is shit enough to put on this table.
And that is the point of the show, is to be tabletop ready within the hour. We're not looking for perfect minis. We are looking to put this down and go, that's the assassin. Obviously, if anybody's seen Richard painting, it's fucking ridiculous.
So shit.
Fuck off.
I've seen your painting, Richard. That is far beyond anything that I would ever be able to do.
My mini painting is not my statue painting, because where I can use the airbrush and stuff more.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is weird, because I go to a mini and I start using the fucking airbrush. To which end, that is just black and brown airbrushed over white. And then I've taken a white dry brush, come on, focus up, and just dry brush the stone back in to give it hopefully a darkened slate kind of look. Is my aim for it.
What's really annoying is the detail on their face of this assassin is insane.
Yes, it is.
2 or 3 scars. There's, and it's got like a nice sort of expression which you cannot fucking see at this height.
Yeah. That's why I'm getting the nerd goggles on for this.
Nerd goggles.
Nerd alert!
So, poisoned. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in 5e, I believe it gives you disadvantage on attack rolls.
Yep. Attack rolls and ability checks, I
And
believe.
ability checks?
I think so.
Okay.
It's been a while.
I thought it was just attack rolls.
I think it's just
I don't know. The only 5e I play is Bloodpunk, and that's later tonight, by the way. And I'm
It
immune
is.
to like poison damage, so I'm freaking
Yeah,
no.
well, true. Yeah, I thought in 5e it was just attack rolls, but in 2024 it's attack rolls and ability checks.
Okay.
So if that is a difference, that is awful for anyone who gets hit by the short sword by the assassin, because
But that's what you want with that low AC as well, really, is like giving them this advantage to get
well,
rid
exactly, yeah, and also, if the assassin's going to hit multiple targets and make multiple people poisoned, it's going to be awful. So another really good thing for the assassin there. But the light crossbow also has +7 to hit. There's a range of 80 to 320 foot, which is normal for the light crossbow anyway. Doing a D8 +4, which again is standard for a crossbow, but doing 66 poison damage on every crossbow hit. No poison condition on the crossbow, but an average of 29 points of damage on a crossbow hit, again, is ridiculous. And they're making 3 of these attacks every round.
Yeah, this is the big one.
Yeah. And being able to do the bonus action stuff that a rogue would usually be able to do, which is the dash, double the movement speed, disengage, to be able to sort of get out of melee combat without taking an attack of opportunity, and being able to hide. All of those things combined together makes them very deadly, which is exactly what they're made to do.
Yeah, that's horrendous. I mean, like 6d6.
Yeah.
We're talking. I mean, 8d6 for a base fireball, isn't it? And then, so that's a potential of 36 damage.
Or just the poison, yeah.
Of just the poison,
And then
plus
if
another
you get max
d8.
12 on the crossbow, that's 48 points.
Now crit it.
Yeah, if you're doing hour crit rolls where you max the damage and then roll it again,
There's a potential of
48 minimum.
96 potential damage.
Yeah.
That's why they're an assassin.
Yeah.
Because you could
100%.
potentially deal
If they get
nearly
that off.
100 points of damage. I think at CR8 are people not quite past the 100 mark, are they? For HP. I mean, the Barbarian is most with 12 HP at max if they rolled max or were
Per
given
level.
max
Yeah,
per level.
yeah.
Plus their con mod, which you're going to probably be at +2 because
Yeah.
strength is going to be the key ability score. So it's average +2, I reckon.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's 12, 13, 14 per level. 14 times 8 is...
It is
10 times 8 is 80.
Yeah.
4 times 8 is 20.
It's
32?
Yeah.
So that-
112
So potentially 112 hit points.
maximum if they rolled maximum every single level.
That's also poison damage.
Yeah.
So the majority of that isn't going to be taken off by the Barbarian's Rage.
Indeed. Yeah. 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 It's a bad one to come across for sure.
It's fucking horrible.
I think it's one of those combats where, yeah, again, the characters, your players, could easily take down the assassin if things go right.
But if it goes
Roll-wise, and they've able to control the assassin somehow, stop them from moving. But if the rolls are in the assassin's favour, someone's probably going to die.
Yeah, I think if that's not... I think at level 8, it's probably not too much of a problem with health potions and with other things. You're probably going to keep parties alive. But if this went against what we were doing with like CR3 or level 3 characters, or anybody of maybe CR5 or lower, or level 5 or lower, that could be a real problem.
Sure.
Real
Yeah.
problem.
Not played D&D for years, well over 30 years. Does poison stack? Poison does not stack. There's no damage over time with the poisons in D&D. Is there anything that does that? Is that often like? Is it sort of like
There is
bleeding?
poison damage.
But is there anything that's like at the beginning of your turn you take poison damage because you've been hit by poison?
I don't know. I'm so in debt.
But even if there is, that doesn't stack. If it's from the same source, anyway.
See, I'm so far down the Paizo rabbit hole now
Yeah.
that I'm like
But
not too sure.
for most things, no, it doesn't stack. Once you have the condition of being poisoned, that's it. You're just poisoned. You can't get any worse. So you either have it or you don't. But it's just another form of damage. And that is sort of wrapping up the assassin, description-wise and stat block-wise. So, not great on the defense, which makes sense. It's an assassin and not wearing full plate armor. They're not, they're not a mage, not using mage armor, any of that sort of stuff. But very good on damage. If the rolls go right for them and they hit the players, it's going to be a bad time for them. So, yeah.
So where would you... I'm going to start with Richard, because he hasn't said anything for a while, which means he's going to be doing painting really well. Not this as a competition. How would you implement this, Richard?
I would do it I say almost like an ambush. I would set them a group of bandits to fight the party. Complete PM levels, base bandits, so they go into the fight thinking they're going to trounce them, and Assassin will be hidden. There will be traps laid out around, ready to snare, and also will be attacking from the shadows and or hidey places.
Hidey places.
What about you, Jack?
With poisons.
Well, I guess I'm kind of thinking from a plot story point of view. Maybe your player characters have kind of like pissed off some noble or a royal or something, and the players are being a nuisance to them, stopping their shady business perhaps, and they've kind of got fed up and have hired an assassin to go and kill them. And they just try and catch them in the most vulnerable position. Perhaps maybe when they're relaxing at a tavern or something like that. I think something like that.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you on that one as well, Jack. I think I like the idea of having the assassin be part of a group that's maybe caught off guard, but the assassin acts quick enough that they're like, all right, well, I'm going to go hide while the rest of the cronies deal with stuff. And the idea of facing or having a danger present that you can't see for a while really does like add to that danger level of a combat. But I think
I'd have the assassin as in the assassin set the whole thing up completely.
oh, okay.
So is there to kill someone, but has basically paid a peon group to be fodder.
Okay.
Oh, I like that. There's narrative. I quite like that a lot. I think, I think I've used an assassin on you guys at a home game before. I think it was called Gold Throne, the city, or something like that.
Right.
And they dropped down from a building to kill Tamsin's character, Tyrvin. Because I was like, you've pissed off a bad guy. They're going to hire an assassin and they're going to drop down. But you guys they dropped on you.
Yeah.
They got the hit on Tyrvin, and then you guys crit the shit out of them.
Wasn't it Llama?
Yeah, who was our rogue?
He's a rogue, but absolutely just critted on a sneak attack and everything, and just basically almost one-shot the assassin, I think.
Yeah, it was so funny. Like, they dropped in on the rogue and the bard, hit the bard, which is what they were supposed to do, and then got crit by the rogue, and it was like, all right.
It was hilarious.
Good night.
So good.
You guys were like level 4 at the time, so it was like, it still hit hard.
Just.
Yeah,
it was good fun.
So for those of you listening on Twitch, or if you're on YouTube, write in the comments, how would you implement this sort of creature? Or have you guys used things like rogues and assassins in your games? And while you think of that, I am trying to, with my very shaky hands, put a base layer of flesh in on the face, which is really tucked into that hood, isn't it?
Yeah, fucking is.
That's really annoying. And I am actually ripping away more paint than I want to.
I've touched the hood thrice.
Yep, same.
Nice.
Just trying to get in there. So, obviously we see a lot of rogue traits with this creature.
Yeah.
Which I quite like seeing class abilities, and it's something I know that you and I, Jack, have spoken about before in previous games when we've both GM and stuff, and we're like, oh well, let's take a base stat from the 2014 monster manuals and stuff, which are all in the back, like your bandits and stuff, and then you start giving them class abilities like this one's pious, so maybe would have divine smites because they're really into this god, or cleric abilities and stuff like that. And what I like about the D&D 2024 stat block is they're clearly doing that. They're now going, okay, well, let's take some of those player character traits and start implementing them into the stat block so that you don't have to. And you can change some of those out. They could be like a trainee assassin. You could drop all that stuff down. Yeah, I really, really like that. I think it's really fun. I don't know, what are your thoughts on the thing as a whole, Jack?
What do you mean the thing?
The creature.
The creature as a whole? I think it's a dangerous encounter to put in, honestly. Honestly, I think it entirely depends on your player character makeup. So, if you've got a wizard and a sorcerer and maybe like one barbarian and maybe a fighter, I think if you've got a couple of player characters that are perhaps playing low armor class kind of characters, I think.
Also, if you've got a couple of muppets.
Well, there is that, yeah. Yeah. Coming away from mechanics, if you've got players who just are fucking about and want to have fun or whatever, then it could be quite a bad situation for them as well.
Or can't think their way tactically out of a wet paper bag.
Exactly, yeah, there is that.
But I think that's a lot of newbie players, which I think is quite fun if you've got...
It's not just newbie players though, is it? Because you got a lot of people who play the game and love the game and love playing it, but don't read their character sheet properly.
You know who you are, you've died thrice.
James.
Some people
just love dying.
Yeah, they kind of, I think, have their character sheet in front of them and they'll look at the sort of the basic stuff. So like, when you're making an ability check and make your rolls or whatever, but they don't look much further beyond that. The basic stuff behind it, whether they're hitting with a spell or something, they go, oh, it does this much damage, I won't think about anything else.
Yeah.
Rather than thinking about tactically, as Richard says, like if you're if you've got access to higher level spells, you can, like slow, for instance, you can control a combat a lot easier. If you've got a really, like the assassin, for instance, if you put slow on an assassin,
They're done.
they're pretty much done. They can't move fast at all, and they can only do like one action per turn.
Yeah, and we've seen that recently, even in other systems.
well, exactly,
It is
yeah.
absolutely devastating as a GM
Yeah.
to not be able to use your high.
Yeah.
But no, and that's kind of the point, isn't it? Is that battlefield control, if you are a player who has set up your character to do that, but you're not doing that,
Yeah.
then yeah, fair enough. But I think most people, when they think like that and they build a character, they tend to go down the evocation route. And they're like, fireball, fireball,
I want to do
fireball.
damage. I want
Yeah.
to just destroy things, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that by any means. But
No, slag them off, come on.
slag them off. But it's very easy to fall down the route of just looking at, I want to do damage. Clear.
I just launched
He
the
didn't
paint
want
at
that,
you. I fucking launched the paint at him.
It's very easy to just think about the damage route, especially if an assassin comes along. You're like, right, we need to take this thing out quickly, rather than thinking about, right, hang on, we can do this. We just need to slow them down, try and stop them from doing what they're doing, and then we can wail on them much easier. And that's we've all done that. We've all been there and been like, oh, I just want to do damage quick. I want to get it out. So it does entirely depend on how you go about the combat encounter, which is the same case for anything that you go against, really. But
So do you think terrain and environment can make a difference to that then?
100 with an assassin for sure.
So how would you guys implement terrain to favour the assassin? Because obviously the assassin's quite intelligent. They're obviously designed, this is their job. They're not just going to jump into an open field with no trees,
No,
nothing like
exactly.
that. So, Richard, how would you set up the combat encounter? Obviously, like, how much terrain, how much breaking line of sight, and what kind of stuff would you implement for that?
If I was to have it set up in a way that I would play it so that it is a dangerous encounter, it would be a streets at night, multiple rooftops that are accessible from every single house, underground access for an escape, houses that can basically be jumped across, and also with enough space in between to be misty stepped. Because any assassin I have will have a ring of misty step or an ability to be able to misty step.
I like that inclusion. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I mean, they're known for having tools at their disposal, and I think Ring and Misty Step would absolutely be one of them.
Ring of the Ram.
Why wouldn't an assassin have a fucking way out?
Yeah, true. That's very true. I think height advantage for the assassin is the key thing to making them more effective.
That and cover, I think.
Because if they're like, say, 30 foot up or something like that, or 35 foot up even, just to get out of that little sort of standard movement range, their melee classes for your players aren't going to get up there for a couple of rounds.
Yeah.
That gives the assassin plenty of time to try and get some hits off.
And again, I would have had an assassin pre-preparing with oil slick on certain places to not be able to be climbing up.
So Richard hates his players.
Yeah, I can tell
Richard as
that.
a bastard.
I'm just doing what the NPC would do. I'm just doing what the NPC would do. Yeah, I win D&D. I love it. I love it so much. I'm going to use that so hard.
Oh my god. Yeah.
They've got a wizard friend who's a 9th level caster. So,
Yeah.
cities and dark streets height. What else could you use this for, do you think?
What, in terms of terrain and environment?
Terrain, environment, the entire stat block, really.
Hmm.
Because I think this could be a good ally as well. The assassin is obviously a hired gun,
Yep.
or a sellsword.
Contract killer.
So they don't just have to be, you could,
Against the players.
yeah, at level CR8, you could be going to help them and be their allies, I think. So this could almost be the stat block of an ally.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, you obviously don't like the sound of that.
No, I'm just trying to think my head around it. Maybe they've hired
Politely
the.
say, bullshit. It's understandable.
So no, you kill the players and that's it.
Maybe they hired the assassin themselves.
It is one of those character and classes that are a good contact to have, a good possible sideline for a rogue. or a bard would have basically someone that could do a little bit of wet work for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm taking XV88. I'm picking out some of the straps, and I'm also going to do the body of the crossbow in it. How are you getting on, Richard? Let's give us a paint show.
I'm nearly done.
I think I'm nearly done too. I need to sort out the eyes and a bit of highlighting on the face.
The face I'm fucking going to be giving up on, I think. Will I get it? Will it work?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I like the dark colours.
Yeah, I really like that too.
Yeah.
I'm just going to Nolan oil some of the metal down a bit.
So, for me, I've stuck heavily to that studded leather and that brown. I'm going to try to bring out some of the key points like that pauldron, the straps, the metal work. But I'm letting that...
I love the leather look.
Well, it's your idea. I stole it from you. So I need to get in the face and do the pupils on the eyes, but I quite like them white at the moment. I quite like that.
Yeah. At the moment, it's giving me sort of like a superhero kind of like goggles, you know?
A little bit, yeah. The unintentional over darkness around the eyes, but a trait that I've done on many things is to leave it like that.
I like it, yeah.
But what I can see is like the pinpricks of light in the dark.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like that, so I might just leave them white and pupilless to make them less human. I do need to get that rope, actually. So we're going to grab...
Oh, shit, I need to get the fucking dagger pommel as well.
So I've managed to do that, so I'm all good there. But I do need to lighten up that face a little bit. You've still got 14 minutes, Richard. Do you think you'll be tabletop ready?
Yes, I will be.
Yeah, I think I will be too. I mean, I think I could put this down now, and I'd be pretty happy with it.
I could rim it now, put it down now, and be happy with the basic bit.
Yeah, so obviously you've got this metal banding around it. Are you going to do the rim in a metal, or are you going to stick to the classic black rimming?
I'm sticking to the classic, give it a good black rimming.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same. Something funny, Jack?
Yeah.
I used a different base.
You've used a different base again, you fuck.
Yeah, you know, I really like the one from the Berserker, and I preferred this to the Berserker, so I was like, I want to do this on this base. So, gotta be different, don't I? Right, I need a lighter skin tone, so I'm gonna grab, I use Barbarian Flesh. Where is my other? Oh, what? Okay, I guess I'm grabbing it out of my AK paints. Don't want the base. Do I want basic skin tone? Yeah, solid. We'll use that. So the basic skin tone is not within the Army Painter Triad system or one of those ones there, but is quite a light, thin paint. You can tell I've used it before because the nib of it's dried out. I don't want to squeeze. Don't want to squeeze too much of this out. I only need a little bit. Because I'm doing like the bridge of the nose, I'm going to do the eyebrows and maybe the little bit of a cheekbone. Just to bring up the light on one side of the face. And then kind of wet blend back in a little bit.
You and your fucking wet blend.
Little bit.
Little bit.
Just a teeny tiny bit just there. I will have to get...
Nothing worse than a dry and clogged tip.
That will be dibs.
Nope.
Is that...
That's all geeky.
Ah.
It's very true. You don't want a dry and clogged tip.
No.
I advise against.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it to the left side of the face. I do need to kind of get those studs though on that pauldron. So this is where it's all going to... This is where it's all going to go wrong. I'm going to get my nerd glasses back on. So 11 minutes. Let's see if we can get these.
Plenty of time. You've got a load of time.
So...
You say that,
I'm speaking as someone who doesn't paint, so I'm just saying.
Yeah, Jack's just sat here making it look easy.
Oh yeah. Just chilling out.
Right. So any more thoughts on the stat block or anything there, Jack?
Well, I was just having a look at the rogue class for characters themselves and what the assassin as a monster or as a creature does not gain.
It's quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want your players to have more of these abilities because that's what makes the game fun. But obviously the assassin as a monster stat block does not gain sneak attack, which if they did have sneak attack on top of the poison damage that they've already got, that would be fucking insane.
That'd be stupid.
So it's probably a good thing they didn't put that on. But they all have already have the evasion, the cunning actions as well.
I think the cunning action is the actual big one, though. Being able to give them the ability to
definitely.
use their action resource and their action economy differently to a lot of other monsters, that's a biggie.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the time? What we got?
9 minutes.
Get a shift on now.
I might. Are they poison vials on its belt?
No, to be honest, I don't know. I've just done them as like little metallic, fucking poison vials, aren't they?
Yeah.
I've just done them as like slightly metallic tubes.
I did too. I'm going to put a green over them. Oh, you know what? I know exactly what green I'm using. Where's my waystone? Oh, do I want waystone or do I want tesseract? Or
You've got to remember, it's an assassin. They kind of don't want to be seen. So if they've got voluminous fucking shit on them.
yeah, but the mini wants to look cool, right? I might use Hex Wrath Flame over the metallic. It's quite runny. I might ruin this now. Ruin. Right. Ladies, gentlemen, and everybody, here we go. I'm gonna come in with the side of the brush. I'm gonna fuck this right up.
Fuck it up.
Went a little too heavy, so I'm just gonna take it away from the edges and the lines between. Hoping a little glaze will just give it just a slight different colour, you know? Something to pop out on the mini and be a bit more interesting. And I'm going to come in where the inside of that hood, Richard, I don't know if you did it, but I touched the inside of that hood with the flesh quite a bit.
Yeah, I had to go over it 3 times.
Yeah, I'm going to try and blackline it.
Fuck's sake, I just put my finger on the back of the cloak as well.
Oh.
That's what happens every week when we rush it. Oh, I need to rim the base as well. It's okay, I've got 7 minutes. Where's my liner? It's weird with you here, Jack. All my stuff is miles away.
I don't think it's my fault.
Oh, I think it is. You're ruining it, Jack. I mean, it's fun having you here, I'm not going to lie.
You literally said you rearranged the place, didn't you?
Yeah, to make room for you.
Reorganised. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of brushes here, mate.
Yeah, none of them are the ones I want. Richard, what have you done with my liner?
Sorry, mate, I had to pour it for you.
Alright. That one's hooked. Don't want a hooked tip. Oh, there it is. Look at that. That's what we're after. So, long bristle liner. Hook. This is it.
This is it. It's the last stretch.
It's the final stretch. I made one syllable too, right?
Oh dear.
Okay, we're going to take some of that back off while twisting. Ye old.
Ye old.
Oh my god.
Good luck with that one.
Doesn't help with the light in my.
How we all doing in Twitch chat? Still good?
You fucking know it. I nailed that fucking line.
Yeah.
I got anybody says I just fucking nailed the line on the inside of the hood. No overspill of flesh there. Now, does anywhere else need a line? We'll go underneath the belt. The reason I do this is to separate areas of clothing, especially when they're the same colour.
Make them stand out.
Yeah. Exactly that. This brush is dying though. We're going to go naked eye. We're going to just eyeball this without the goggles.
Got 5 minutes left.
Oh, maybe this one is going to be better. Okay. Still have to rim.
Good old ribbon.
That is exactly it, Jack.
Yep.
Finish up with a rim.
Yep. And then what?
Sleep.
Nice.
What's nice about the contrast as well is because it's somewhat transparent, even the darker colours, it just gives you that separation, but not too solidly, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What is the material called? Because obviously it's like studded leather, but this bit all down here is like padded. Is it like a jerkin or something like that? I've got that name running around my head. Geeky, just finished updating 16 road cores in the tracker and just preparing for hosting a webinar to our build teams on the upcoming legislation changes for the increase in fines for breach of permit conditions. Yes, my working life is full of excitement.
God damn.
No.
God damn.
Fair play, dude. Fair play.
That sounds boring.
Far beyond my comprehension, that one. I'm glad it's in your hands, not mine. I think you're probably right on jerkin. I think that's the right thing.
I think that's the kind of thing Dak will know if he's still there.
I'll have a little quick search on the old internets.
Right. I'm going to blackline this. Not blackline it, I'm going to rim this and then I'm done.
Likewise, I'm currently rimming.
3 minutes. You know what? For something so small and detailed, I'm really happy with how this went. Try not to touch a wet bit.
That's a fucking sick jerkin.
It is a jerkin.
Well, that's a little bit longer than a jerkin, so...
What's a longer jerkin between friends? Oh, you literally bring out the giddy child in people.
Oh.
Can't wait for Blood Hunt tonight when we all fall about laughing in the
it's
first
gonna
30 seconds.
It's not going to be the same without Alex, though.
No.
But he's having the time of his life, so that's fine.
Is he?
I hope so.
He's not here with us.
No. A jerkin is an upper jacket, I think Dak says.
Told you Dak would know.
That's pretty accurate. Yeah, so maybe it's not jacket. What would it be called?
Tunic?
No, not tunic.
I'm done.
I'm done.
I've managed to do some dodgy fucking eyes and eyebrows as well.
I have left the facial hair off. I've left the ring around my eyes dark. And then that's that. With 1 minute 25 left to go, we are done. So Richard, I freaking love how you've done the blue and the black together. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I really like that. So Richard does stuff every week that I don't think to do, and then I absolutely hate my own.
Mate.
I would like to point out, it's usually fucking likewise. As well.
So, I'm going to, because I've only just rimmed it, try and bring this up here. Obviously, I've taken Richard's idea for leathers over Zenithal by airbrushing a sepia ink onto it. Then, I've actually not done much with that apart from pull out, giggity, some of the straps and ropes with a few different browns. Then we've come in with some metallic on the knife. The face we've used 2 different flashes on, and it's a bit exposed the light in here to really show you. But I've actually left the eyes pupilless. And then again with the crossbow, I've used a different metallic for the arms and the what essentially is the muzzle, and then painted the rope on in a rope colour. Definitely, the airbrush has saved me on this one. I think without that, I'd have been doing solid colours and then trying to dry brush over, and I would have probably primed black and gone to my classic oak brown dry brush and leave it at that. But the idea of having that like slightly shiny leather was all Richard's idea. So if you are watching this and that's how you decide to do leather in the future, that idea actually came from Mr. Warrior Prince 3D over there, who, doublet! There we go. Who, hey, Fluffy, who, yeah, painted up a ghoul statue recently and shared it with myself and Craig in a group chat. Oh my god, it's ridiculous.
Did I send you the one of the photos that have been done, proper photos?
No, I don't think I want to know, do I?
Where's that? Find it.
So while Richard finds that, obviously the Assassin, CR8 creature, quite a hefty stat block, and hopefully from Jack explaining it all, we've learned quite a few things. I think I have, which is quite fun, but also definitely doable within a hour, I would say. I do say the Iwata airbrush has helped.
Yeah.
So definitely worth probably investing in an airbrush if you were going to try and use inks over a Zenith. Otherwise, next week for episode 67, Richard, we're on... Oh, look at that. That's a lovely Iwata. The Awakened Plants. I think I can do 2 in 1 episode.
Well, it's shrub and tree, isn't it?
Yes.
So, yeah, 2 in 1 episode.
Okay, so next week we're going to do the Awakened Shrub and the Awakened Tree in 1 episode. And the Awakened Tree, you know, you printed up a huge plant. It's a huge tree. And the little tiny shrub that goes with it, I think like the blights, I think it's going to be relatively easy to do. But I guess, thank you to everybody who's been here on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe. Obviously, we'll put out pictures on our social medias. Go find Warrior Prince 3D, Richard at Warrior Prince 3D across social medias, TikTok, Instagram, I believe are the main 2. And... yeah, and you can find me at either the Dragonborn Bard or at Dragonborn Industries across pretty much all socials. We'll get pictures of these up all over Instagram and YouTube and wherever. Thank you, Jack, for joining us today.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Really good.
Chat, thank you. We love you so much. Have yourselves a fantastic week. We'll actually, me and Jack will see you later this afternoon for some Star Wars Unlimited.
Yeah, probably about an hour and a half.
Yeah, go get some lunch and then we'll play some cards.
Yeah.
And then we're back again later for Bloodpunk, sponsored by Warrior Prince 3D. And then I should be back Monday, I think, is the next time I'm due to stream.
Okay.
I don't know if I've got anything else booked in until then.
Well, you tell me, buddy.
Saturday with Dragon School Studios, I believe. We should be back for painting on Craig's channel, Dragon School Studios. Shatterpoint tonight with Band of Badges for Craig. And I think that is... Woo! All of the end of stream announcements. Guys, thank you so much. May the dice gods be ever in your favour. And we will see you all soon.
See you later.